Contact event number 9, Bottle Lake. This point, I'm traveling around Vancouver Island, living the hobo lifestyle. And for the longest time, I thought that this was just a random spot where my contact event occurred, only to find it was kilometers away from 2 missing 411 cases. But there's not a lot of sightings in the area, actually, funny enough. Someone in the BC UFO database did witness a craft that looked like my Bottle Lake craft, though. So near the Portman Bridge, again, that was in Coquitlam, and very fascinating. I could see it was metallic with two dome-like shapes. On top, a rectangular body with something protruding from the rear. So it's not 100%, but you know, people see kind of, there's not just the discs, right? There's other types of crafts. And I thought that it's kind of similar to mine, and this was all the detail, and that's the picture they took. So this was kind of what I saw inside the craft, and yeah, fascinating. There are 3 missing 411 cases. Sylvia Apps, so she is not in this area, but she's over here where she goes missing. So I don't know the exact area. It's in the mountain range. So you can drive from here and you put yourself here, and you can hike up the mountain ranges from this backside over here. She's on some ridges. She's obviously gone for a couple of days. They have record of her reaching the peak that she was trying to go to because she signs it. But then she places, she appears to, on a ridge, place her bag down. And then she places her camera and her poles down somewhere else. And then that's it. There's no other sign of her, and they find nothing. So the search and rescue actually said it looked like she lost her mind because of the way that she just kind of placed things down, and especially important things that you need to survive. And yet Sylvia was known by all her relatives to not, she was mentally fit, she was physically fit, and for all this to occur, she also had like GPS systems. She had things with her to not get lost. So here's a person doing very bizarre behavior and then being lost, and there's no sign of her ever again. Literally, they find no sign of her ever again.
And Jeff, I just want to come in there about the placement of items. One of the aspects that David Paulides has found, and other investigators have also found, is that people will sometimes remove their shoes for no reason at all and put them tightly in one place, and then start removing clothing as well. But it's this kind of like placement of things, not just randomly just thrown about. That is very, very important as well.
Yeah. Well, the weird one is that they'll have no shoes missing. The body will look like it got dropped. They'll have shoes will be missing. The body will be dropped, and then there will be no no dirt on the feet. Like the socks were not. So they hadn't walked to their destination, and yet they're missing shoes, and then they have no sign that they've walked. So that's like and there's one actually in America, in the States, where they were dropped, and they was dropped in snow, and there's no tracks leading to them. So they clearly have been dropped from above. And so yeah, weird stuff, man. Weird. And again, like we don't have the answers to this stuff. Dwayne and Richard are, okay. So these guys are the ones that happen right in my area here. Both of them are one's up here on this ridge. The other is at Cream Lake. So it's a bowl. It's this lake here, this one right here. Cream Lake is one, and then this bowl is the other. What's fascinating is so he was with, it's Richard. No, Richard is the one who's caught up here in the ridge. It's Dwayne, who is, Dwayne is the one who's with 3 people, and then he is the one who says, I'm gonna go bushwhack down to the lake, and you guys can take the trail. He's never seen again. He's got a backpack full of equipment. Everything's with him. He's got a raft. He's got fishing poles, and he's got like everything was with him. And then how does a person go into a bowl with very little other ways out, right? There's like barely, you can't get out any other way. He's got all his equipment with him. All of it goes missing. What they do find are the fishing poles, and they're broken in half. That's why I say it's things like this that make it look like territory, like food, like something didn't want him there and says, hey, you're taking my food. And so that's just a really weird behavior, even for any entity. That's just really strange. And so everything is taken. So how can someone go missing like that? And of course, 100 search and rescue come, and they find nothing, right? They find a hat floating in the water, and they find the fishing poles, and that's the end of it.
And it was his change of behavior with his colleagues to suddenly say he was going to go off on his own.
Point of
to do that.
separation. Yeah, point of separation.
And
You got it,
full
yeah.
of bravado, almost as though he was to link in with something that you've experienced, is the pushing to your limits.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, pushing to the limits. I'm going to do it myself. It from the story, it looked like it took an entire day to bushwhack. So it was really weird. Like he kind of decided, I'm going to do this very rough thing and isolate myself, and then he just never gets shown up ever again. Yeah, very weird. Richard Milner. His car is parked in the exact. So I mentioned in my story, I had the contact event up here, and then I come back that night and I actually sleep in the exact same trailhead that he leaves his car in, and he goes missing. So I thought that was really weird. And he does a small hike. His hike, he shouldn't, no one should get lost in his hike. Even the police and the search and rescue were so confused. How did this guy go missing? And there was never a sign of him ever again. And his car was in the same, anyway, that's just even for me really weird when I found that out, that he left his car in the same trailhead that I slept in. I slept in the trailhead that he left his car in. And I just thought that was really too close for comfort for me. Not even that, people. I actually did a small day hike, but I didn't do the full hike. I mentioned in the book I was having trouble hiking in those days, and I kind of went up a little bit and then came back down, but I was on that trail that he went up and never came back. So yeah, too close for comfort, but very weird indeed.
And would you just tell us again what that area is again?
I think it's called Flower. I have it here, Flower Ridge. So Dwayne, is that right? Richard right there? Richard, yeah. Cream Lake. He was heading to Cream Lake, and it's a 4-hour hike. It's up this ridge, and and that's it. Over 50 searchers. So he parked his car here, and you come up the ridge here, and that's it. He was never found again. Yeah.
Coincidence that you parked your car in exactly the same place.
Bam! Yeah, exactly, man.
And did you, just to butt in here quickly with you, did you feel that it was an orchestrated event for you to get there, to be in that place, or something?
No. In the moment, you don't. Okay, your question is awesome, and I'm going to ask you say something. Okay, so in my second contact event, that's the one that the memory comes out in. So it's all around a second contact event, and the memories come out by going out to the location. And when I go out there, I bring the screen memory to mind. I can feel I was lured out as an observer to the event. I can feel I'd been lured. But when I brought up I went to the hypnotic regression of that contact event. By the way, the hypnotic regression was accurate because I ended up putting pieces together about where I went, and I found accurate locations in the forest. So that was that was a 100% conclusively authentic hypnotic regression that provided real memories for me. That's how I say that. There's no feeling of being lured in the memory. I'm the one with the compulsion. I want to go do this thing. I don't know what I want to do. I want to do that. I don't know why I want to do that. I just want to do that. You're not feeling lured. You're not feeling a compulsion. You just have the desire. You think it's your own desire. That's the problem. You think it's yours. And yet, as the observer removed, I could feel the luring that had taken place. It feels like it's a choice I'm making, and I'm the one making that choice on my own. It's really that says a lot, actually. To me, that says a lot, right? So there's like a telepathic, I call it subconscious telepathic, where they're talking to the subconscious. So you just feel like it. I want to go and do that thing. I don't know why I want to go do it. I want to go do that thing. And that's what ends up
It's
happening.
The manipulation of minds. That's what it is, Jeff.
Yeah, well, telepathic, yeah. And I mean, it's hard to say to manipulation because I'm not clear that humans don't do this to each other, right? Like we have, there's subconscious stuff that goes on with us as it is, right? That's kind of what marketing is, right? Marketing is a subconscious manipulation of the mind, right? And so anyway, yeah, but in the cases of people who don't want it, yeah, maybe that is manipulation. So